What's going on, guys? Knights here, and welcome back to another Mordhau builds video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of my personal favorite invasion builds, and I would stand behind them and say that they are some of the best builds I can put together when it comes to getting a lot of kills or having high kill streaks in the invasion playlist. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first build. So the first build is Billhook with Bloodlust, a 2-3-0 layout for armor with a bandage. Now, you might wonder why I'm using a bandage with Bloodlust, and let me put it this way. I'm not a huge fan of Bloodlust because of the fact that when you are weak, now again, Bloodlust is insanely good, don't get me wrong, but when you are weak, you're posed with a question, which is, do you essentially gamble your life and run into a crowd of people or take an unfavorable 1v1 with 10 HP with the means to regen your health using the Bloodlust perk, or do you stand back for 15 seconds or however long it takes to proc to regen and just kind of disengage and slow down the play of your game quite a bit. So that's why I use bandage with Bloodlust. If it comes down to it, I would choose to use a bandage over Bloodlust in most circumstances. But again, I think they actually pair quite nicely together. I would only use this for 5-point weapons. I would never try to do this otherwise. Again, it could work all right for you if you went lighter armor and did this with a more expensive weapon. But this is kind of the sweet spot for me. I wouldn't really be willing to shed off much more armor in order to achieve the Bloodlust with bandage together. So this guy is one of my favorites, and I hope you give him a shot. Billhook has sort of a mixed reputation regarding its damage. Some people think it takes too long to kill, but I myself have found it to be quite consistent. It 2-shot stabs level 2 torsos. It 1-shot stabs level 0 heads. It 3-shot stabs pretty much anything, and you'll occasionally get really unlucky against completely tank boy armor builds, and it'll sometimes take you 4 hits to kill if you do too much dragging. But again, you need to mix in drags with stabs with this build. Obviously, it is more optimal for stabbing. It's got probably 2/3 the amount of stab damage than it does the drag, but it's a super unique weapon, really good at taking people off their horses, and it's super fast at stabbing, and all around a very natural weapon to use. I really like the wind-up animations from my POV, and I do think it's sort of difficult to read from the enemy's POV as well, and I really like being able to kind of have a unstrict turn cap with the stabs, being able to turn and stab out of them and things like that. So the next build, which is one of my most used builds, which is 2-3-0 as well, with Zweihander bandage. And this guy is what I got my 115 kill with on invasion, and I haven't been using him as much lately because I've been trying to test out other weapons. But yeah, this is a super strong build. Some of you might be wondering why I use level 0 leg, and I'll answer that for you right now. So let's say I were to lay out my armor in the orientation of 1-3-1 instead of 2-3-0. What this does is it makes it so that I can get one shot by about 60 or 70% of the weapons that your typical invasion player will be using. Whereas having 0 legs, you have about a 20% chance of getting one shot from a weapon that somebody would typically be using in invasion. On top of this, if you check out my stats, now again, this applies for most people, but if you can see, these are hits that I've done against other people, which is a decent marker for showing how much you're going to be hit in the head versus legs. And I have 25,000 head hits, 63,000 torso hits, and about 6,500 leg hits. So I'm significantly more likely to get hit in the head, and weapons are significantly more likely to one-shot your head than they are your legs. I just don't want you guys to get the wrong impression and think that what I'm saying is leg armor is inferior to other armor. I think most players would agree that chest armor is the most important piece of armor to have coverage on, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I would also recommend that you use multiple variations of your favorite builds to come to the conclusions yourself of what armor layouts you enjoy using the most. Next is a Scavenger build that most of you are familiar with. This is just the particular way that I laid mine out in. So friendly Bloodlust, 2 insanely good perks, 3-3-2 armor build, so very well armored. Now again, guys, obviously leg armor is really important and good. If you can have a tank build, obviously stack your leg armor. There's sort of diminishing returns when it comes to 3-3-3 armor builds versus 3-3-2. I would almost recommend using 3-3-2 9 times out of 10 over 3-3-3, just due to the lack of utility in having that extra leg point versus applying it somewhere else in your build. And again, to finish off the class, it has a cleaver with a bandage. The intention with this build is to find a weapon on the ground, given that the cleaver is a decent weapon, but it is a 1-point weapon, so basically anything you can pick up off the ground will likely be a better weapon at getting high kills, and again, it will make you a better player to have a good understanding of using all the different weapons in the game. Here's a build that I don't use really, but again, it's a very strong build. A lot of players would use this build. 2-3-0, spear, bandage. It's a mirror build to my Zweihander build, but with a spear instead. So yeah, I'm going to start playing on this guy a little bit more, but again, it's not my favorite playstyle. I like having a better mix-up between stab and drag heavy damage weapons. I like a good balance. And the Messer, this is a Bloodlust 2-3-0, same loadout as that Billock build that I showed you guys with the bandage. And yeah, I used the Nordic skirt to cover up the level 0 legs. Most players will eventually catch on to this, but if they're looking at your backside or some random profile, they may not find this desire to attack you because of your low leg armor. So keep that in mind. You can sort of compensate for low legs in other ways. Next, we have the Greatsword. This is just a straight classic tank build, 3-3-2 with a bandage. Very good, consistent, survivable class. So yeah, hope you guys try this one out. Most of you probably have. And same with the Executioner, exact same loadout. A little bit riskier of a build. Probably can get higher kill games, but with a little worse KD. It's entirely up to you what you're looking to do when you play. Here's the Poleaxe build. Now this guy, I'm not running a bandage just because I'm not willing to really sack the armor very much more than it already has been. So yeah, I don't use this build a ton, but I'll be trying it out a bit more. Again, you have to keep in mind, because of the hit stop, which is the blunt impact side of the weapon, you're not going to be able to 1vx with this weapon very well with that side unless you can crunch people and combo through them. So I would recommend using the sharpened edge for multi-target engagements, whereas if you're in a 1v1, I would definitely recommend using the blunt impact side, given that it does a decent amount more damage. And again, the stabs are very solid on both the alt and plain mode. I believe they're the same. So here's a longbow build. Huntsman Longbow 1-1-0 cleaver with a bandage. Very good class if you get nailed by an archer. If you get hit to the torso, I think you will survive, even if they're using Huntsman. And again, you can just pop the bandage off and you'll be back up close to full. And the cleaver is just a super good 1-point weapon. You could use a dagger or short sword, whatever you want. Most of the 1-pointers are pretty solid. And we have the Ranger build, which is Huntsman Ranger with a recurve bow this time. A little bit more armor on the torso with a better weapon, a falchion instead of a cleaver. And a bandage. Again, fairly similar looking loadout. But if you're a recurve player, I recommend you give this a shot. Next we have my Fire Rodent. Now, in all seriousness, I actually really like this build. If I'm really just trying to unwind and not take the game too seriously and just have some fun, I'll typically use it on the attacking side, specifically on the grad map when trying to defeat the commander and warden. But you can absolutely use it on most maps, whether you're playing offense or defense. It's really up to you. just fun build. Some might say it's very annoying, but it's fireproof friendly with Bloodlust, so you don't burn your teammates very much. So you won't be that annoying. But then you got a rapier and double fire bombs, so have fun with this guy. Give him a shot if you're just looking to meme. And this guy, he looks like a meme, but he's actually not. He's one of my favorite builds. He's got the Smith perk with 110 armor layout, heavy hand axe, super good weapon, really hard to read animations, very good damage all around, and it's got the hammer end for repairing your stuff. Toolbox, of course, with a medic bag. Super good team player build if you're looking to defend the commander, defend the warden, or simply just set up really good structures around the base, or set up a ballista. You can use this class for offense, defense, whatever you want. I've had quite a bit of fun, and again, it's a class that I just have fun unwinding and not trying to just sweat it out and go on high kill games. So, hope you guys enjoyed these builds. There's a lot more that you can use when regarding invasion builds. These are just the builds that I use and enjoy, so let me know what builds you guys enjoy using for the invasion game mode, and I'll happily check them out down below, and hopefully we can have some discussions amongst each other about our favorite invasion builds. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'm excited to come out with some more content for you guys very, very soon.